Yeah, I wrote the World Peace Diet because I wanted to explore and to give people a sense of the deeper structure of our culture and how our abuse of animals is something that we inherit by just being born here. That our culture at its core has this invisible mentality of commodification of life, of commodifying animals, reducing them to mere property objects that are used for food, clothing, research, entertainment, and that they are not seen as beings who are sacred and who share this earth with us as mysterious cohabitants of the world, but that they've been reduced to mere property. And so as I did the research, I've been a vegan for about 30 years, and as time went on, I did more and more research into our culture's systematic abuse of animals. I realized that it's really primarily through food, through the meals, that we indoctrinate and we kind of inject into our children the violence that the meals are. We're eating violence towards animals, and that out of that we begin to just see the earth and all animals as just things to be used, and eventually we turn ourselves into things to be used as well. So I spent 5 years writing the World Peace Diet, and then after it came out, I realized that the most important thing is to sort of spread the message some more by traveling. So my wife and I now are living in an RV, with solar panels on top, traveling around the United States. We've been traveling, just full time. We don't have a house. We travel full time, and I'm giving over 150 presentations a year. With music, I play the piano, I'm a composer, and so with music and art, my wife's an artist. She does beautiful paintings, I think they're beautiful anyway, of animals in the wild. And animals, I think we know at a deep level, just yearn to be free, to live their life, to have sovereignty over their lives, just the way we do. We yearn also to have sovereignty over our lives. And then give lectures and retreats and workshops on the main ideas in the World Peace Diet, which are that we will only be free ourselves and have peace and joy and sustainability and equality and justice as we extend those to animals who are in our hands, basically. They're at our mercy, and to whom we do not show what we would want. We don't let them live their lives in freedom and peace and joy and love, and to express their feelings and yearnings. And so it's enormously rewarding to be able to spread the message that way. So that's what we focus on, mainly music. I have an album called Animal Songs, which actually I think it's the only album out there that has the voices of all kinds of animals, not just the wild animals like wolves and dolphins, but the voices of chickens and pigs and cows and turkeys and ducks and geese and so forth, the animals that we are eating, as well as wild animals, to help us see that these are beings, they're not just things, and the art and then the words. And so I think one of the best things we can do, from my sense, is to find our unique gift and then turn it into a way of helping our culture to awaken, to raise our consciousness in the culture, to be more of a blessing, that we are here to bless the world, to find our unique way of blessing the world, and to use our creativity to help bless the world. And I think when we do that, our life gets much more meaningful, because we're doing something to help in the bigger picture for future generations. That's the main focus of the whole first half of the World Peace Diet, is about this disconnect and the incongruence, the fact that we have a set of beliefs in compassion and kindness and mercy and justice. We all believe that. We don't think of ourselves as being cruel, malicious, vicious people, but are we living our life, our actual daily actions, in congruence with those beliefs? And most people on a spiritual path find it very difficult to give up, say, taking out their wallets and paying for someone to stab animals. We're killing 75 million animals every day in the United States alone just for food. I mean, this is a massive killing operation where we have whole armies of our brothers and sisters that do nothing than kill and stab and brutalize animals, hyper-confine them, mutilate them, kill them. And so we are causing that by our choices. So I think more and more, as we feel ourselves drawn to a spiritual life, to spiritual unfoldment, we'll see that it means not just praying, meditating, reading, studying, and all those things, and living a kind life just to other humans, but really to being vegan. That being vegan is the expression of the spiritual yearning. That, in a sense, if I'm not living a vegan life as best I can, which is a life of minimizing the cruelty I'm causing to other living beings, then my spiritual efforts are really in many ways ironic. You know, I want for myself, but I refuse to give to others. And the whole spiritual path, I mean, if you, I think, could boil down the spiritual teachings of every religion to one sentence, it would be this. It would be, whatever you most want for yourself, give that to others. If I want to be free, then free others. If I want to be loved, then be loving. And this is the, if I want to be blessed, then bless others. This is every religious teacher. That's the essence of what they've taught. And yet, that's what we're not doing as a culture to animals. And so, this is the great point of greatest power for us as individuals and as a culture to transform our world, is through looking at what we're eating and how we're living our lives. What are we paying for when we take out our wallets? Are we paying for circus misery, zoo misery, leather misery, food misery, drug misery, you know, all this massive amount of misery? And the beauty of it is we don't have to. I mean, I have not been to a doctor in 30 years. I've been a vegan for 30, well, vegetarian for 35, and vegan for 30, and it just opens up a whole doorway, I think, of freedom for ourselves. That's monumental accomplishment, that it is for sure one of the most powerful, if not the most powerful, expressions of the human mistreatment of animals for food and for clothing and for entertainment and for science. And that as we spread the message of that movie, you know, see it ourselves, show it to others, show parts of it. I think, like, there's a lot of people giving courses on the World Peace Diet around the country now, and quite a few people, as part of that, they will take out of the Earthlings movie the part about using animals for food and show that to the people who are in the class. And I've heard it makes a huge difference, because it's one thing to read about it, to think about it, but it's something else to actually see it. And when people actually see it, they go, "Well, why didn't you tell me? I didn't know it was that bad." You know, they suddenly. I remember teaching, you know, classes in philosophy, and we talked about these ideas, you know, and then I showed a video, and then before that, the students were kind of ho hum, yeah, and then it was after that, it was like, whoa. I didn't know, you know, they just don't know. And so I think what the Earthlings does, the great gift that it gives our culture, is that it makes us aware of what's behind the curtain of our denial. It pulls the curtain back, and we see actually what we're doing, and I think that is enormously empowering. And you know, I discussed in the World Peace Diet the idea that we have a shadow, and the shadow is what we truly are, but we deny being, and so that is what controls us. The psychological, you know, function of the shadow is the part that we've denied in ourselves. And so as a culture, we have this huge shadow. And what Earthlings does, I think the great gift that it gives our culture, is that it reveals the shadow. And once we see the shadow, then it may be painful, we maybe resist it, we don't want to see it, we don't want to know, but once we do, then we have the power to transform our consciousness. We can begin to behave in new ways, go to a higher level where we're not actually causing that kind of misery, and then be able to reap the rewards of that in our lives, which is simply more happiness, more joy, more freedom, more self-expression, more creativity, and create the foundation, really, where a social life of peace and justice and creativity and fulfillment and joy is actually possible. So I think Earthlings is one of the most vital and important tools that we have as, not just as animal rights activists, but as anyone who cares about the earth and about future generations, about starving people, about animals, about human beings, about their children, to be able to just express the feelings that we have by showing this. Because you can show Earthlings, and you don't have to say anything. You don't have to try to convince anybody of anything. People just go, they get it. You know, they just get it. I've showed this on sidewalks, like in Lawrence, Kansas. We showed Earthlings on the sidewalk. People are walking by, and you don't have to say anything to convince people to go, whoa, and people go vegan, or they give up buying leather, or they say, I'm not going to a circus anymore, when they see what's happening. And none of this stuff would happen if people didn't pay for it. It's really the cultural, you know, act of taking out the wallet and paying for things that keeps it all going. So instead of fighting so much against the industry, I think the most powerful thing is to just educate all of us to just stop paying for that.